Well, hello there. Welcome back to part 2 of ditches, riverbanks, and stream carving. And as you can see on the model train layout here, we're establishing a pretty good display. So I'm going to change the angle of my camera so you can kind of see what I'm going to be doing here. Hold on a minute, we'll get started. Well, as you can tell, I'm working back on this corner over here and just basically doing a stream that is going to come around. So as you know, in the last video, basically what we did is we did a river carving, and you can tell right here we're gonna have a head gate where the water enters off the river. Then it's gonna follow this irrigation ditch right here, and I got a piece of pipe that I'm going to be adding because we're going to have a switching operation here. So we want it to look like the canal continues under, and I'll be putting some drywall mud or some plaster across that to cover it up. Well, now we're coming into the stream right here, and the water that comes off, and it'll be head gate will control it right here, and a head gate will control the amount of water coming in here, but we also have to have a place to let it out if we get too much water in here. So this will be a stream that, as you can tell, wraps around and continues back over here, and it will fall into the river over here. These two boxes are going to represent a little tunnel that is going to go back in there. So when we come off of this switching operation, we'll be able to go over here and pick up some cattle. The locomotive will be able to come off and transfer back into a back circle back here and be able to come out here and go left or right. And so that's what we're getting started on. But any agricultural area needs to have a water outlet for it. This is Canyon Flats, so this ought to be pretty cool. So once you just sit back and enjoy watching me carve this stream out. Let me set you all back over here again. So I'm going to angle this down so you can kind of get a better idea of what I'm doing. So in order for me to get back there, my friends, what I'm going to do is I've designed my model layout to actually slide on top of my fireplace as I walk it out away from the wall. And as you can tell, now I can get behind it. So I'm going to be working right here in this area, and I can actually push my love seat over here back as far as I can go. So let's watch as I begin to carve coming around my layout here. A couple of tools that we have, of course, is my drummer tool. I also have a shop vac to pick up all the debris, and a inexpensive Walmart bag to put the big stuff in. So let's put our little markers up here. Let's go ahead and use the utility knife. Let me go ahead and move that camera a little bit so you can see a little bit more of me in that video. So now you can see what I'm doing. So basically what I've done is I've made a little mark, as you can tell, in black coming around here. But what I want to do is I basically want to make an indentation in there for my utility knife to go in, and then my tool right there will basically follow suit with that. So basically what I'm going to do after I make that mark, and I can see kind of where it's at, I'm going to take my drummer tool with my flat blade on it, and I'm going to make an angle cut down into the bank. You want to keep your blade on your drummer tool flat, or you'll be digging too much of it in. We just want to surface a stream that's deeper than our ditch as it comes around. That's what we're trying to establish. We're going to call this a stream. It also might be a man-made stream coming down off of the canyon wall here that might come down into there. So let's just kind of slope this bank around here and keep going. See, as you can tell, foam goes everywhere. So now what I can do, Ben's I'm back up against that wall to be able to get my angle, because if you've seen this, it's angled. So I want to continue my angle. So I'm just going to use my blade here, utility knife blade, and I'm going to angle that back there a little bit. And then we're going to even it out so it starts to come straight. And as my wife pointed out to me, the other part of the M on this railroad, that streams don't always run straight, and that's true. They have a man-made or a kind of a natural angle to them. So as you can tell, I'm making the bank a little bit wider here as it comes around. But we want to go back into narrow because we basically got a Pacific area to model in here. Okay, the track will be right here, then there'll be a road here, so we've got enough space here to model in scale layout. So this will be, like I said, a hay field on this side, maybe a cornfield here that they're irrigating somehow off of this. We'll figure that out down the road. So basically, how do we get our curved shape coming back against this rock face? You know, maybe we use this saw edge knife to make our angle. See, I'm angling this knife about as best as I can next to my track. You can also do the same thing here if we don't want to use the drummer tool to get in there. But I found that the drummer tool is the best course to remove the inner layers. Now I've got a pretty good mess going on over here. Makes a real big mess. Some of this smaller stuff, you don't want to vacuum it up because this bigger stuff, because it will plug up your vacuum cleaner, I noticed. So we'll get us a little Walmart bag and put that in there. Then I'll come back around and get behind it and start shaping it a little bit more. My wife is actually sitting on the love seat, and you can see her in the video there. That little person right over there.
You're doing the harder part.
So she might want to make a comment, but let's go ahead and continue this at an angle so we can establish our bank. And as you can tell, we have...
You're doing the hard part.
Yeah, well, you can plaster it on camera.
That's the fun part.
As you can tell, we came from wide and now we're starting to get narrow, is because I want more landscaping back here. The curve don't really matter because you can't do a lot of landscaping up against the curve anyway. But I'm trying to start going downhill now because we're heading towards the river and the stream needs to run downhill a little bit. So let's just keep going here and you can see how I get to here. When I get to here, I'm going to reverse the camera and put it on the other side of the table so you can watch how I come down into the river. And as you can tell, I'm putting a little ridge on the back side of this up next to the canyon, just kind of slightly. So let's continue to take a little bit of this out of here and then I'll change the angle of the camera. I think that'll be pretty good on that little section. I'll clean this mess up and we'll change the angle of the camera and I'll show you what's going on over here. Kind of want to show you a sneak peek in another video, my friends. I actually have a carved out area here that I did in step 1. You guys are really lopsided. Let me fix you guys. Go back to level. Yeah, I think that's better. But I made this wooden bridge here to span this, and I'm going to have to take some little risers and make some pier supports down here that are going to support this bridge. But that's in another video, my friends. It might be coming up after this video. But I'm going to move this because I'm going to be carving down into this canyon. So let's move that out of the way. Let's move this out of the way. This is what I'm using to hold that bridge up for now. All right, my friends, now we're going to get back in touch with our tool, and we're going to finish making a bank, as you can see there. Now I can pretty much reach this. We'll be putting some plaster cloth down over this, and we'll be putting some sculpting mold on here, so that'll help a little bit. So let me go ahead and fire this up, and let's go ahead and finish this bank. See what's going on there, my friends? We have a waterfall down here that's coming off of our river, and now our stream's going to have a little waterfall that's falling down basically into the same area. I think that's pretty cool myself. So now what I'll do is I'll use my sanding block and I'll sand that down smooth, and then we'll clean this up and we'll be pretty much done. I'll show you the sanding right now. Yes, sir. Clean area is a happy area, I always felt. So I got drywall mud down in this area. Just a little bit of sanding down with the sanding block. Sands that out. Okay, so now this does a pretty good job of cleaning out that path for our plaster cloth to come down into. And as you can tell, I'm bumping the camera, so let me pull this back a little bit from you. That's better. Just keep using the block. I guess you could use a block of wood if you wanted to as well, but that's why this is a block, I guess. You can sand down your edges, keep that rough stuff off. And any imperfections that are underneath there will be covered up by the plaster cloth, which is an okay thing by me. And then little areas that are too high, you can take and break them off of there. So basically, my friends, that's how you do it. I think I'll carve this area down a little bit more here, but I think that's going to work. We can put some our plaster cloth in there, and that'll make it look like it's a stream coming down. And so then our next step, my friends, will be to add plaster cloth over this. And as you can tell, my back canyon wall comes off of there. I showed you in another step how I painted and did that back wall, but as you can tell, my friends, I redid it. Let me move the camera around and give you a front view of it. As I leave this video, let me turn the camera around. Well, my friends, that's the view of the canyon wall. And as you can tell from back here, it looks a lot better than the video concept I did with the mountain. That actually looks like a canyon wall. And as you can tell, when I get ready to do that wing over there, it'll kind of blend into it. That little white light there is our moon that you can see there. And so the next step, my friends, I'll be showing you how I built that bridge. Let me share the view of this track plan with you. As you can tell right there, forgive me on the shadows, but this is kind of the concept that I had in mind. So you'll be able to see that we're coming around the corner. As you can tell, we'll be coming around the corner. Then there will be a double crossover in the back, as you can see there. And then we'll come down off of this side. And then you can see there is two mains. That's what it represents. This outside main will have a set out track, and then there will be a like a Y switching yard in there where you can come and change the directions of your locomotives to go east or west. I like that concept. So let me pan out so you can kind of see this in the finish. My friends, check back with the next step on how we're going to actually build that bridge that covers that gap. And we also have to build a railroad bridge here. That's coming up next.